Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank you as well for having me here today. My name is Eimear Mc Guinness. I'm the manager of the Mart in Donegal Town. I'm also the chairperson of the Donegal Mart Society, and I'm a member of Associated Livestock Mart throughout the country. I've been a manager in Donegal Town for 12 years. I've been there about 15 years in total, and we've faced many challenges through the years, but I think this insurance hikes is one of the biggest challenges we've had, and there's no doubt about it. If we don't get something sorted and sorted very quickly, marts will close. The livestock marts annual premiums, they're rising at a shocking rate. I've included a table for you today, and you will see some of the marts that are on it. They'd be marts that I'd have a connection with, and I would have got their figures. I also included other figures this morning. I think they were distributed to you late. They'll have figures from other marts throughout the country, and if you look at them, you'll see exactly what's happening. There's approximately 85 to 90 marts. Some are opening and closing. Probably we'll see a reduction in them over the next year or two. I hope not. In Ireland today, 1.7 million cattle is estimated to go through them each year, and 800,000 sheep, and that's worth a value of 1.2 billion. FBD insurance as our primary insurance in the mart sector. We cannot basically get even a quote from any other insurance company, so we're at their mercy, so to speak. Insurance providers view marts as having high significant exposure with injuries to employees and also members of the public. We've had numerous meetings with FBD over the years. From my point of view, in 2016 we were asked to a meeting in Letterkenny, and we were told that they were taking in new safety measures and that an insurance assessor would be taken or sent out to all the marts, and we'd have to make these changes for health and safety points of view and also to keep the premiums down. So with no other option, we got a loan out, and we spent about 15,000 at the time to get these works done, but lo and behold, the increase the next year. I also, we had two claims which I would have been in 2014 and 2015, which I felt should not have been settled. And I think from speaking to most of the marts throughout the country, every mart manager will say the same thing. Claims are being settled that should not be settled. It's just the money that has been handed out, and that's a major problem, but I don't know if we're going to fix that today. So after that happened, basically, as I said, it's all public liability claims as well, and that's our biggest problem. Then this year, I suppose, the accident in Mohill Mart brought everything to a head. It was a horrible accident. The man was very badly injured, and changes had to be made. And ICOS, one of the leading bodies with the marts, they would have had talks with different organisations with FBD, and a lot of the ICOS marts decided to a no access policy into the marts or the corridors, and some mart managers would feel that that's doing away with the whole reasoning behind a mart in the first place. You can't go down the yards to see the cattle, but at the same time I think we all are in agreement that something has to be done. We can't have people getting injured, and so we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We just don't know where to go with it now. Also, there's the whole thing of cost of changing marts around. Like in Donegal Town, the mart is an old building. We're 50 years last year in operation, and we'd need to put in a walkway which would go up across the yard, and that's extreme expense, money that we just don't have. My job every year is to try and make the mart break even. And to get money like that, it's impossible at the minute, because a lot of changes, as when you have a building 50 years old, you spend a lot of money all the time. So that's what we're really facing. You'll see from the tables, as I said, that there's and one thing I'd also like to point out, there's a lot of marts there that have had huge hikes and they have had no claims, so that's very, very unfair, and I'd like to know the reasoning behind that. As I said, I'm with Associated Livestock Marts, Donegal Marts Association. We're very fearful for the future of the marts. And marts are needed. They're needed in every town and village. There was reasons why they were set up in the first place, for trading of livestock. It's also become a social thing for farmers. Farmers mightn't see anybody from one end of the week to the next, and they go to the mart every week to discuss the price of cattle. But it's very, very important for communities and villages and towns. When the farmer comes to the town, he spends money. Anyhow, you'll see it all in. I put in a lot of background information, but I don't want to keep you all day. I'll tell you really what we're here for, what I'm here for today. I think it's very important, if we get nothing else out of this, that we get full disclosure from the insurance providers on all mart annual premiums, their rate of increase, the factors contributing to the rising costs, details of claims both contested and paid out by the insurance providers over the last 5 years, and that's throughout the country. Because I think if we actually see that, we might see another side of what has been happening. And we're not seeing it all, or we're not been told it all. As I got Pierce, you checked it for me last year, and we were told a story that wasn't evidently true, as you'll see from, I put in an extract from a letter I received back. Also, assurances. If we could get assurances, if the FBD insurance or whatever providers, we need to talk to them. The marts can't close. At the same time, they can't pay what they're being asked to pay at the minute. So if we make some changes, and I do understand we have to make changes, whether it's a viewing period for cattle or whatever we have to do, we have to come to some agreement. But insurance companies can't be saying they're going to wait 5 years for these changes to be made. They have to bring the premiums back down now, because a mart that was paying, I'll take an example of one, 22,000 and now is asked to pay 87,000. That mart's not going to be open in 5 years. So it's now we need to act, and it's now we need something to be done. I'd also like to stress, from Mart's point of view, with FBD, we've been dealing with them as long as I'm there, and the staff are very courteous and very, very helpful, and always have been. But this is something that has to be addressed. And last thing, I'd like if the government to give serious consideration to a funding scheme to help marts. I think that's the only thing we can do, because we do have to make these changes. For the smaller marts, maybe CCTV camera operation, and as a colleague here has stated, if we could change that it'd just be within the 30 days and that it wouldn't be deleted. That's very important. If we could get funding for a scheme like that to put them into the marts, or in the bigger cases, overhead walkways, we definitely need some sort of funding, because we're just about trying to break even at the minute. Thank you very much.